Hello everyone, this is Jaquay Hiles, Certified Project Manager, PMP, that is Project Management Professional. I just want to thank you guys for joining me today in this video and coming to how to pass the PMPexam.com. Welcome. Today we'll be discussing what to do once you get your approval from PMI to take the actual exam. So you've made payment and you find out whether or not you got audited or you didn't. And if you did not, then you can go ahead and feel free just to go ahead and schedule the exam now that you have your eligibility ID. We'll talk a little bit about that ID and what's a little later in the video. And we did talk about that in the previous video as to what you do if you get audited. And after you go through the audit process, you'll be approved for your audit, and then you'll go ahead and receive the eligibility ID and be able to take the exam or schedule the exam. So now you know that you have 1 year to take the exam. You have 3 tries within that 1 year period that PMI has approved you of to take the exam to pass. If you don't pass by that 3rd time, you're essentially going to have to wait a whole year, and then you're going to have to go through the whole process again, starting from the time that you failed the last test or failed the 3rd test that you attempted to take. Alright, so we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. You don't want to not pass, right? But I'm going to give you the tips, tricks, and tools that you need to pass the exam on the first try. Okay, I'm going to tell you what material to study from, how much to study, what you're really going to need to dig into and know going into the exam. Okay, I'm going to give it all to you laid out in these series of videos I like to call PM Theory. So since you have 3 opportunities to take this exam, you're going to want to schedule your first exam about 3 to 3.5 months out from the date of approval. What this does is it gives you a goal. It allows you to put a stake in time, saying this is when I'm going to take the exam. I'm committed, I have a goal set, and I'm going to succeed. I think this is key in your success and being able to pass the PMP exam. A lot of people get approved and they kind of drag their feet, or they study, but they never set that stake in the ground. They never go ahead and schedule the exam. And then they end up lapsing in study and having to restudy and retest, and you just don't want to do that. You don't want to stall. And then on top of that, you have 3 opportunities to take the exam. So you want to be smart and have a contingency plan, right? And that contingency plan is to take the exam the second time. We're going to talk about what the real costs are to taking that exam the second time. So on the exam, you're going to have 200 questions, okay? 175 are scored. 25 are simply dummy questions that PMI is just testing out. So you only have 175 really to do well on, but you don't know which 25 of that 200 is going to be scored. So you want to go in scoring, or you want to go in taking the test trying to pass every single answer, because you don't know which ones are going to be counted and you don't know which of the 25 aren't going to be counted. So now that you know you have 1 year to take the exam, 3 tries to pass, okay, you don't want to not go ahead and schedule that exam. So what happens if you don't pass? As you can see on the screen here, I have the exam administration type, PMI member status, US dollars, euros. What is that showing you? That's showing you how much it costs to take the exam and the different types of exams that you can take based on your membership status. Okay, if you're a member or you're not, and the costs associated in US dollars, and you can see over there to the right they have it in euros as well. So if you're a member, it's only going to cost you $405. Okay, now that's a pretty significant discount of about $150 versus the non-member. And then if you take into account that you get that free electronic PMBOK guide, that's another $40. So you're essentially saving $180 by taking the exam as a member. So it's a big bonus. I think PMI was fantastic for doing that. It really pushes people to become a member. And I think it, at the same time, just gives you that nice cash discount, okay? The reexamination CBT is the cost of the computer-based test to retake the exam if you fail. As a member, that's $275. As a non-member, that's $375. Again, $100 difference. And if you look at the cost of taking the first time and the second time, that is going to cost you $680 whopping dollars as a member. Even more if you're not a member. So keep that in mind as you move forward and you now have approval. Again, I would suggest that before you schedule your exam, that you become a member of PMI, because I think it's just worth it. You know, it's much more than just the discount on the exam and the discount on the book. It's also the networking opportunities that you have, the material that they oftentimes give away for free, and the just statistics that you can find on their site regarding how much PMP certified individuals are making on average, and just a whole slew of information that comes essentially free when you become a member. Now, there is quite a bit of paid content in their marketplace, as they call it, on their website that, again, is paid. You have to pay for. I don't want to leave you with the impression that, you know, it's all free, but I think there's some great discounts and benefits to being a PMI member. Getting hooked in with a local chapter. Talked about that in a previous video. So take all that into account when you are looking at paying for your exam and the real costs. Alright, so we've covered the fact that you have 1 year to take the exam. You have 3 tries to take the exam. What happens if you don't pass on that third attempt? How much the cost of the exam is going to be? How many questions you're going to have to face. You're going to need about a 61%, or not about, you will need a 61% score to pass the exam. Now remember, this is pass or fail. It's not about whether or not you pass at 70%, 80%, 90%. You do want to do your best, absolutely, hands down. But you want to absolutely, hands down, pass, right? So that's what our focus is. That's what our goal is going to be. And that's what we're going to talk about as we go forward in future videos. Now that we've covered all that, great. What about scheduling the actual exam? What does that process look like? In the background here, you see the prometric.com website. On this website, you can go ahead and schedule your exam or check the availability for a testing center, maybe that's closest to you, and you want to look at, okay, what's going to be available 3 months from now, okay? So you come here and you will go to for test taker side of the website. Going to click on all. Going to go scrolling all the way down to the P's where it says Project Management Institute. Alright, right here. You're going to click there. It's going to open up to another page, and it's going to show that the Project Management Institute certifications, PMP, PGMP, the CAPM on this side, the Agile. We want the PMP. So we're going to just click on Get Started, schedule your exam, click Start. Automatically, we want United States if that's where you are. If you're in another country, great. They have a ton of countries on here, so hopefully they have a testing center in your area. State, let's just go and choose Illinois. That's where I'm from. So, all right. So now schedule an appointment. That's what we want, and I'm gonna get stopped here in a little bit because I won't have an eligibility ID. Because the one I had is no longer valid since I've taken the exam and passed. But I want to show you simply what it looks like. And this is where I talked in the last video and earlier about the eligibility ID. This is where you're going to come in and paste that number that you're going to receive in an email once you do receive the email approval from PMI. You're going to need, of course, your 4 letters of your last name. The first 4 letters, rather, of your last name. You're going to punch those in, and boom, it's going to take you to actually schedule the exam. But since we're not going to schedule the exam today, I want to show you how to check for availability. You're going to go to search for availability. Go to no selection, select PMP, Project Management Professional, and you're going to give a zip code. So let's just put in the zip code here. Just Alright, so there are a number of places that I can take this exam, and it's all sorted by how close they are in proximity to the 61101 zip code. So I'm going to just choose this first one here since it's closest, and I want to choose availability. Now I could get the directions if I wanted to know how to get there. We're going to go into availability. Takes just a moment, and automatically right now I can see today's the 19th, okay, but I can see that I can take the exam on the 22nd or the 30th, as those are the 2 days available. Let's say I want to do it on the 30th. What is it going to show me? So there's an available slot from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Now here's the thing, I can't see how many seats are filled, right, in the availability or the number of seats available to me. So if you really want to take that exam, that's a date that you desire, go ahead and choose it. Again, you can always move it into the future as long as you do so 48 hours before the actual exam. Alright, now always double check that number because it could change in the future, but right now, today, it's 48 hours. And always call your center if you have any questions where you're going to be testing and what their rules are, what you can bring, things like that. That's going to be key also in you being relaxed and understanding how to get there, what's required and things like that, just to make sure you don't make any mistakes and end up missing your test date because essentially there are no refunds, okay? Well, that does it for today's video. Thank you for joining me on howtopassthepmpexam.com.